So I know that tonight will be the cutoff for questions for my Q&A video, but I thought I would go ahead and start answering some of these since I've got quite a few. I'm going to be answering a question about difficult in-laws in this video, as well as how my goal with Juice Plus being to bring my husband home doesn't interfere with like our biblical rules, how that will look in our home and in our family, how we imagine it looking at least, what our favorite books are for our family, and advice to a young wife who's married to a non-believer that has left and filed for divorce. They have 3 children together. So these are the ones I'm going to try to answer in this video. So the first one, difficult in-laws. These in-laws are not just, well-meaning and annoying, but they're verbally abusive. They speak badly of their son in front of others and behind his back, and they speak badly of his wife in front of their children. They also make racist jabs about the wife because she's a different race. I asked my husband about this because I didn't want to be too harsh in my answer, and his answer was exactly what mine is. Get them out of your life. It's as simple as that. If they are messing with your family, which they are, because they're speaking badly about you to your children, get them out of your life. I don't know if they're believers or not. Don't sound like they are. I don't know if you've tried to talk to them. I don't know how long you've been married, and what kind of a relationship you have with them, where you can tell them like, hey, this and this and this is what we desire for our children. Can you help us in that? Or, if you continue acting and speaking in this way to me, to my husband, and to our children about me, and making racial jabs and stuff like that, you're not going to be allowed in our lives, because it is not what we want our children to be exposed to, And so protecting your family is number one. And sometimes that comes at a very high cost, like not being around other family, but oh well, in the end, it's going to matter more how you handled your home and your family than how they're going to feel about it. They can either be a blessing and a wonderful addition to the family, or, if they're not at least civil and kind, they, have no place there. So my husband was like, move, get out of town, go somewhere else, get your family and get out of there, so that they have no way to be in your life on a consistent basis, and you can still keep somewhat of a relationship with them over the phone, to where they're not going to be influencing your children on a regular basis, but just, having this loving on your end, loving relationship as you live out the Christian life, being kind to them, being forgiving to them and gracious to them, but not like having them over the house and you being over their house and you leaving your children with them and any of that. And whatever they say behind your back, whatever. The Lord holds your reputation in his hand. You are his. He knows you. He knows your heart. They can gossip and slander. That's really sad and hurtful, but let God deal with them about that. But as far as how they influence your children, you have control over that. And I would remove the family from their influence immediately. So that's my answer to that. You may or may not agree, and that's fine. That's my answer. Everyone knows one of my biggest goals with my Juice Plus business is to be able to have my husband quit his job and work together from home. It is not what it sounds like quit your job and then come home and we're going to do housework together and we're going to homeschool our kids together and we're going to do everything together. Of course not. We talk about this all the time, which of course we're not naive enough to think that it's going to be this smooth and easy transition. Of course not. He's going to be in my domain all of a sudden, and it might interfere with the groove and the way that I run this house when he's not here, because he'll be here. So I'm sure that there'll be a learning curve and an adjustment period, and we're, wise enough to know that and to expect that. What it will be like, we have no idea. We might hate it and decide, you know what, you need a part-time job. It's too invasive. We don't know. But our hope and our desire is that he can work his Juice Plus business a little more, because he'll have the time to. He can work on some other businesses that he has started up. a little bit more as well, and that will occupy his time, and that when he is not working or when he doesn't want to work because he's free and doesn't have to, he can use that time to help me with educating the kids, or for us to like go and do stuff together, do amazing stuff together. What appeals to us the most about that isn't the fact that he doesn't have to work, it's the fact that we'll be free to decide that we can do whatever we want, whenever we want, with no one to answer to. So if we say, let's go camping, it doesn't matter if it's Saturday or Monday, you know, let's go camping. Let's go to Florida and visit the family. All right, let's leave on Wednesday. We don't have to ask anybody. We can just go. So that's the desire. So I don't know. We'll see when we get there. If we get there, you know, when we get there, I don't know. And I don't think it'll interfere with our biblical roles, because I think our biblical roles are very, very distinctive in our home. I am like domestic queen, and take my job very seriously.
Look at all my friends.
Yay!
That's Jerome, Gavin, Daddy, Grayson, you, Nathan.
Nathan, that's cool. You can take a picture of Nathan tonight. Hey, look, I'm doing a video, so give me a second. Okay.
Okay.
All right, favorite, I hope that answers that question. Family, favorite books. The marriage book question, I can answer that easy because I've read several marriage books and I know which ones are my favorites. Hands down, favorite is The Excellent Wife by Martha Peace for women, and The Exemplary Husband for men. Love that, by Scott Stewart. And then Fruit of Her Hands and Reforming Marriage by Douglas Wilson, and then his wife did Fruit of Her Hands. So Reforming Marriage is by Douglas Wilson, Fruit of Her Hands is by his wife. I can't remember her first name. Those are my two favorite marriage books. Love them. Some other good ones, Feminine Appeal, Becoming the Woman of His Dreams. I really like that one. Those are the main ones I've read. I started one called What's It Like to Be Married to Me? Something like that, and I didn't really finish it, but it started off really good and I've heard great things about it. So that's another good one. And then as far as family favorite books, we're just getting our feet wet with family reading. We do a lot of reading. We've read all the Little House books, which are definitely beyond dear to my heart. I love them all. And the boys love them. We're reading through Pilgrim's Progress. We're reading a lot of life books like Story of the World and Our Island Story. Those are like history books. They're part of our history curriculum, but they are fantastic. 50 Famous Stories Retold is great. Viking Tales, Paddle to the Sea. And then we've read so many books from the library, little ones, you know, the story about pain.